Good afternoon. Welcome to Three Swords Gaming. And this is probably going to be my last new player guide. And this one's probably going to be pretty short and pretty simple. Um, because I've kind of run out of things to talk about. But this was the last thing that I did want to address. And that is, why do players who've been in Guild Wars 2 for a long time have alts? Why do they have alt characters? And in many cases, why do they have alt accounts? Because I can definitely see someone coming from another game. Now, certainly there are other games that are alt friendly. Final Fantasy 14, I think, is pretty alt friendly. I think World of Warcraft is too. I haven't played enough of either one to really experience that for myself, but that is definitely the impression I'm under. There are also some games that are not very alt friendly. So if you're coming from one of those, it might truly be mystifying as to why in Guild Wars 2 people have so many alt characters, and again, in some cases, alt accounts. So I want to address that real quick so that if you're a new player, you kind of understand what that's all about. So, one, the leveling process. So if you decide, I shouldn't have even started on a character. I should have started here. So if you decide that you want to try out a variety of different classes, which is to say different ways to play the game, then you would presumably have 9 characters that do that, right? So you'd have a mesmer, you'd have an engineer, you'd have a necromancer, so on and so forth, right? Um, and each of those is going to represent a way of playing the game. Now, Guild Wars 2 is very quick about leveling, right? It's very easy to level in this game. So you can have those 9 characters, one for each class, and get full satisfaction out of them in a relatively short period of time. You can be enjoying all 9 of those. It doesn't actually ask that much. Your first leveling experience to 80 is going to be the hardest. After that, it gets remarkably easy, which is why I have a bazillion level 80 characters, because it's not that hard to do once your account is up and running and you're playing the game regularly. Also, there are 5 races. So within those 9 classes, you may also choose to play with all 5 races. And there will be benefits beyond the aesthetic. There are, in fact, within the core story, and I don't remember where it shows in, yeah, I think it's in general. Ooh, but where in general? Oh, is it not? Somewhere there is an achievement. Man, where is it? Well, I don't remember where it is, and it's not important. There's an achievement for playing the different cultural level 10, level 20, level 30 stories, because they are different from race to race. So if you wanted those achievements, you would have 5 different classes, and if you wanted, or 5 different races, and if you wanted to experience the entire story of Guild Wars 2, you would have 5 different races. For different gameplay, you would have 9 different classes. You would also, early in the core story, try all 3 different orders: the Priory, the Order of Whispers, and I forgot the name of the third one, the Vigil. Right? You would have all 3 of those. So you would play through the first 3 portions: level 10, level 20, level 30. Well, and then actually for the orders, level 40, 50, 60, you're going to play through the story 5 times, with 3 of those being different orders, in order to get that full experience. So some players who wanted that experience will have a number of different characters for that reason as well. There's also direct benefits to your account. There are a couple things that I want to address real quick before I start talking about alt accounts and why those happen. One, this character is a good example. Because I've already got map completion on this character and other stuff on this character, I don't play out in the world a lot with this character anymore. I do from time to time, but mostly she hangs out up here at the end of this jumping puzzle and opens this chest. For a lot of players, they do this daily. I don't actually do it daily because I tend to get lazy, and don't always take the time to log into all the characters that I have at jumping puzzles. Similar to jumping puzzles, There is the mirrors in the newest expansion, Visions of Eternity, and that is fundamentally the same thing. It's just instead of logging in and being next to a chest, at the end of a jumping puzzle, I'm next to the little game. I play the game, and I get rewards that are quite a bit better than the jumping puzzle. So with extra characters, you can have that. But a new player might not want to dedicate characters to that, or they might. You have 5 character slots. You might get your full gaming experience with one and have the other 4 just create characters specifically to camp them at jumping puzzles. This is particularly beneficial as you start going week to week and you use a teleport to friend, or you actually do the jumping puzzle for the weekly jumping puzzle for Astral Acclaim. This week it was this one that this character is at right now, Professor Portmat's lab. There's a real easy 50 Astral Acclaim if you already have a character that's parked up there. So there is some like day-to-day small income generated by alts. Also, when talking about like gameplay, right? We'll pick a character that actually has Ascended on her, I think. So legendary gear takes some work, and if you want legendary gear that is if you want light, medium, and heavy armor, that is going to be a tremendous amount of work. But even if you just want a handful of legendary weapons and one set of legendary armor and some legendary trinkets, and I don't even have all that myself, but there's a variety of reasons for that, then you're going to have to put in some work to achieve that. With where the game's at right now, Ascended is actually really, really easy. It is easier, believe it or not, to equip 9 players with some Ascended gear, which this character I think should be mostly, if not all, Ascended. Looks like we're all Ascended on this one. And this is one of a number of characters that I have fully equipped, all Ascended. You can achieve that much easier than achieving 3 sets of legendary armor and 8 to 10 legendary weapons. Now, you're not going to get the stat change, but you're still going to have a character in each class that has best in slot. So you're not going to be able to change it from power to Condi, but aside from that nuance, you can have essentially the same thing. You're just going to have it across a variety of characters. And it's actually easier to achieve. So I don't think I'm the only person playing this game who, instead of chasing some of those legendaries, equipped a number of different characters with Ascended, and then depending on what I wanted to do, I could just jump to one of those characters instead of changing the legendary gear on a single character. Okay. Alt accounts. Why would alt accounts happen? Well, there's 2... I could go to any character now because this doesn't have anything to do with characters. There are 2 primary things beyond, hey, I want multiple accounts, that might appeal to you about an alt account. And then there are a couple of other oddball things that may be true for you as well. 1, character slots. So this particular account happens to be maxed out on character slots, but let's say you weren't. Let's say you only had the 5 character slots that came with your account, or whatever came with your account, and you wanted more. And you said to yourself, well, I want, I'm committed enough to the game that I want several more character slots. Well, how much is that actually going to cost you? Well, the answer is, unless there's a sale on character slots, which I believe usually only happens twice a year. That's one of the things that they put on sale the least, is character slots. So generally speaking, it's going to set you back 800 gems, $10 US. It is somewhere here in the gem store. They're always for sale. They're always for sale. So how did I miss them? It doesn't matter. Trust me, they're 800 gems. $10 US, or you can pay like $20 for a new account and get multiple character slots. Character slots are objectively cheaper buying a new account than they are adding to your current account. Now, from the studio's perspective, that might actually make some sense, because
I could outrun a centaur.
if you add characters to your current account, you get all the benefits of the skins you've unlocked and the, the achievements, that, whatever, like everything that's already in your account applies to that character, right? They can start using the legendaries that you've crafted or whatever. And so, sure, I mean, by all means, if you want to spend $10, like, buy a character slot on the account you already have. Like, there's no reason not to do that. But they are more expensive that way.
I could outrun a centaur.
If you get 5 character slots, paying $20 for the game with Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire, you've paid $4 per character, and that is considerably cheaper. So the reason I have several alt accounts is, in the past several times I have said, well, you know what, I know I wanted to build up several more characters. I know I want to level them and equip them and advance through the game on them because I enjoy having alt characters. I'll just buy another account because it's actually cheaper.
I could outrun a centaur.
So that is one of the... Jeez, quit saying that. There. Another thing, for a lot of people, so Guild Wars 2 does not, and players have asked for this. Players have gone into like the subreddit or the forums and said, is there a way to reset my account or reset my achievement points or something like that? Because some players really enjoy the satisfaction of all these achievements that they've already got once. Well, that was a bad example. The things here that they've already achieved, they want to do it again. And there is not. Guild Wars 2 said, hey, that's not something that we're interested in doing. There's too much risk there. I don't know if they said there's too much risk, but I think at the end of the day, that's why there's too much risk. They reset someone's account, and then it's like, oh, I didn't want that. That was my brother who had access to my account and asked for it to be reset or whatever. And the potential problems are too great for ArenaNet. They won't allow you to reset your account. So if you enjoy unlocking things again for the first time, getting achievements again for the first time, that feeling of a fresh account, you're only going to get that by getting a new account. And again, if it's $20 for a new account, that's like nothing, right? There are some other small benefits to alt accounts that I would never encourage. And to keep in mind, this entire video is not an advertisement for alts. You should not buy more character slots or buy, God forbid, buy new accounts just because you think it's going to give you an advantage in the game. None of the advantages that you gain from having alt accounts or alt characters are worth you spending like real money. Like that trickle of gold from having characters at the end of jump puzzles. Hey man, like if you just want to buy gold that bad, buy gold. Like the game lets you do it. Like that's stupid to buy a character just to generate gold in the game. It's going to take like multiple years of having that character to equal what you could have just bought in gold, or multiple months at a minimum, unless you get really lucky. But there are some other like teeny tiny benefits. Another one relevant to both alt characters and alt tunes is the game. One of the ways they make money, because it's, it is not a pay-to-win game, and if you hear someone say that, that means they don't know what they're talking about. They either don't understand what pay-to-win is, which is actually kind of a common thing, or they don't know what Guild Wars 2 is because they haven't played it, or they're just throwing pay-to-win at the game because they don't like the game, and pay-to-win is like the worst thing you can say about an MMO, right? In America, at least. It's not necessarily true in Asia. But they make their money by selling, one, aesthetics. All this nonsense, some of which is nice. Like, for example, I like the Aetherblade armor, which is not loading at the moment for some stupid reason. But, like, is my internet slow today? Or sometimes the gem store gets finicky, too. It's stupid. But it does. There we go. Aetherblade armor. Now we can see it. One, this is a big part of the way that the game makes money. And they do make money this way. And that's good, because it's better than pay to win. The other is some of the convenience stuff. Like additional crafting licenses. Don't buy that, by the way. That's stupid. you have at least 5 characters. If each one has 2 crafting professions, which is what you can have on a character, then there you go. You have all of your crafting. Like, you never need to buy this. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Well, it's actually not the stupidest thing in the gem store, but it's close. Bag slot expansions. Here's the big one. Bank tab expansion. That's 600. A new character is 800. So for almost the same cost, I can have a new character and then just have that character hold a bunch of stuff. Where are one of my bank tunes? So one of the nice things about alts, and for me this is alts that I'm either not interested in playing in the near term, or alts that I'm done with. Like, hey, I achieved what I wanted to achieve on this character for right now. I'm not going to circle back to it for a year or two. So I'm going to throw a whole bunch of stuff. I'll just buy some relatively large bags, and I don't think this character even has that big of bags. 15. And I can store extra stuff on that tune, and it was cheaper than, or well, it wasn't cheaper. It's 200 gems more than buying a bank tab. But it can actually hold more than a bank tab. And I get to play with this character if I want to use the character. So I get the benefits, the other benefits I mentioned of having an alt character, plus I can use it for storage when I'm not using the character. Oh, and every character gets birthday gifts, so I guess, you know, there's that. I have 37 characters that are at least 7 or 8 years old, whatever it is, where you get the level 60 scroll. So I got that going for me, I guess. So all, like, relevant things there. And you could even have a storage account. Just keep in mind that if you have a storage account, nothing that is account bound is going to be able to get transferred from one to the other. But you can... Mailing things would be like a real pain. But you could also create like a storage guild, which is harder than it used to be early in the game's history. Creating a storage guild, like having your own guild and leveling that guild up and having guild storage and just keeping your own stuff in your own guild storage was like another hack for not buying bank slots and stuff. These days it's a lot harder to do, but you could still do it if you put forth the effort to do so. And then you could use that guild, and this is what I do. The reason I'm talking about it is because I absolutely do this. I have a storage guild, and I use that guild to transfer stuff between various accounts. So all like the map completion that I do on different accounts, all the, you know, grinding events or whatever. So like, I just got Winter's Day stuff from killing that champ, right? If one account is full up on snowflakes, I might transfer it to another account. And so these are not reasons to have alt accounts, but they are additional benefits of having alt accounts. Hopefully, again, not an advertisement. Not an advertisement for you to have alt characters, not an advertisement for you to have alt accounts. But if you're new to the game, and you're like, why in the hell did I just meet someone who's talking about having 25, 30 characters, or talking about their alt account, or even alt accounts? Why would that possibly be a thing? What is different about this game than other games? Maybe that kind of made sense. And at a minimum, if you're asking yourself what you should do with the other 4 slots on your account, then the alt character stuff might have at least given you some ideas. You can make those 4 character slots useful. Storage, if absolutely nothing else. At a bare minimum, you can be using them for that. So, hopefully that was helpful. I'm sure there are some other things. I'm sure other folks... There have been some kind of scammy things that have happened in the past. If you really care, you can ask a player who's been in the game for a minute about the Kung Fu Tea thing, and they'll tell you that whole debacle. Really embarrassing for the studio. Really embarrassing for some players who were pretty fraudulent about how they went about that. But for the most part, I think I covered most of the things that are beneficial with alts. And if you go down the alt road, maybe that'll prove helpful for you. I don't know. Okay, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. That's it. I'm done with new player videos unless someone like leaves a comment asking a question or something. Otherwise, that's it. Hopefully these videos were helpful. Hopefully you're enjoying the game if you're a new player. And hopefully you stick around for more VOE and whatever's next, because the game is actually, believe it or not, probably at the best point it's ever been. And I say that as someone who's been in the game since beta. I think the health of the game... There have been times where I enjoyed the story a little bit more, or enjoyed the gameplay maybe even a little bit more, although maybe not. But definitely the health of the game is the best it's ever been. So, I hope you're enjoying it, and I will pick up the story playthrough in like 4 or 5 more months when there's more story. Thank you, and you have a good one.